So when you got the part, I mean, the film's called The Invisible Man. He's a sort of famous character in kind of literature and cinema, and you're playing the Invisible Man. It must be so exciting to be that part, but at the same time, no, hang on a minute. I might not actually be in the film an awful lot.
It's the dream. It's every actor's dream to be in a movie where you play the title character. Everyone talks about you the whole time. Everyone's scared of you. You don't have to work that much, and then they pay you. It's the dream. It's like every actor's dream. It was, do you know what, I actually, and it's a testament to Leigh, I hadn't put two and two together that it was The Invisible Man, as in The Invisible Man, from reading the script, because he's written, it's such a departure from any kind of monster that we've ever seen before. I mean, such a dramatic departure that it wasn't until they announced it that I was playing him that I realised, oh, yeah, of course, it's like the Invisible Man, that Invisible Man, yes. But I feel very lucky that I get to play him.
Because though a big sci-fi horror movie, a real genre film, it is steeped and grounded in reality. I mean, did you feel a responsibility in playing this character and giving this story justice, given the victims of real psychological abuse out there?
Of course, yeah, definitely. And I think that Leigh was very, very conscious of that, at the beginning, and Lizzie and I both were as well, and we did feel a certain amount of responsibility that if we're going to tell this story, we don't want to be exploitative in any way of these stories, and we want to try and tell it as truthfully as possible. And I think Leigh doesn't exploit it at all in the movie. He merely kind of holds a mirror up to show this kind of behaviour and what happens in the world. And it was quite eye-opening doing the research, because I felt quite ashamed that I was so unaware of how rife this sort of behaviour still is today. You hear about it, and you think, oh, but that's what used to happen. But it's quite terrifying, the levels of how people are still dealing with this and the amount of damage that it does, not just physically, but psychologically and emotionally is. And I think that Leigh deals with that in a very respectful way. And so we did feel a need to tell that story as truthfully as possible. And if it meant that we would, that I would play a character that was not likable in any way, then we felt it very, very important to tell that story.
Yeah, not likable is an understatement. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Good. But I'm glad. I really am glad, because I feel like then we've done our job. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, a lot's been spoken about Leigh as director, who is a brilliant filmmaker, but Jason Blum producing. I mean, when you see his name come up at the beginning on the sort of title credits, you just know you're in safe hands. That's from an audience point of view. Is it the same from an actor's point of view?
Oh, definitely. I think what Jason Blum has done, and everyone that works at Blumhouse that we had on the shoot, they are just such intelligent people, and that's where I think he's kind of changing the world of horror. And it's not just horror, because, with something like Invisible Man, even something like Us and Get Out, you wouldn't. They are not just horror. They're all of these other things that are kind of added in, and I think it's just incredible what he does as a company. What they do. It's really quite impressive, and you do feel like you're in safe hands when you're working with them.
I mean, talking of great kind of recent horror sort of productions, I mean, The Haunting of Hill House was so great and so well received. Even when you're involved in something, and no matter how proud of the project you are of it, is it always still a nice surprise when people take to it in the way that people have taken to that show?
Oh, of course. And it's really nice because, with that show in particular, it was personally, it was quite quite an odd thing being that vulnerable on screen, and the effect that character has had on. So, I mean, yesterday at the airport, someone came up to me, and people like to talk, and they like to talk about these characters. They like to talk about the journey that they go on and how it relates to their own lives, and it's really quite special to be a part of something that is kind of deeply affecting people in a positive way. So it's definitely a nice thing.
Season 2 soon?
Season 2, we just wrapped it on Sunday.
Oh, well.
So, yeah. I can't say anything about it, but it's...
Your smile says everything. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
today.
you. No
Cheers.
worries,
Take care,
mate.
man.
Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey